Moment fugitive Epping sex attack migrant, is nabbed in North London after his unintentional release sparked three-day hunt. A sex-attacked migrant who was unintentionally freed from jail has been apprehended following a three-day manhunt thanks to a tip-off from a member of the public, the Metropolitan Police has revealed. Hadush Kabata was spotted being detained by 4 officers in Finsbury Park, North London, at around 8:30 a.m. on Sunday, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer announcing he will be deported. The 38-year-old Ethiopian was released free from HMP Chelmsford in error on Friday, barely 4 weeks, after being imprisoned for sexually assaulting a 14-year-old girl and a lady in Epping, Essex, while being accommodated at an asylum-seeker guest house. Kabatu, whose actions caused protests outside the Bell Hotel in Epping and around the country, was awaiting transfer to an immigration detention center ahead of his intended deportation, but bungling jail authorities freed him instead. The convicted sex offender was seen in Chelmsford conversing to members of the public before boarding a 12:41 p.m. train to London Liverpool Street. CCTV shows Kabatu in the Dalston district of Hackney just before 8 p.m. on Friday. He was also pulled up at a library in Dalston Square roughly 2 hours earlier, wearing a prison-grade tracksuit while clutching a white tote bag with avocados on it. But the Met Police reported today that he was ultimately caught in Finsbury Park on Sunday morning, 3 days after being wrongly discharged. He will now be hauled back to prison. In a picture of his arrest, Kabatu, who had access to finances, was shown wearing trousers, a puffer jacket, and a hood over his head, having managed to change out of his jail tracksuit. Commander James Conway, who has directed the effort to find Kabatu, said, "This has been a rigorous and fast-paced investigation conducted by specialized officers from the Metropolitan Police, assisted by Essex Police and the British Transport Police. Information from the public led officers to Finsbury Park, and following a search, they identified Mr. Kabatu. He was held by police, but will be returned to the hands of the prison service. I am really thankful to the public for their support following our appeal, which assisted in locating Mr. Kabatu," a witness told The Sun. He was arrested on the bus. There was one plainclothes female officer and another lady officer in uniform. 2 uniformed male cops wearing blue forensics gloves joined them and threw him in the back of a van. He was shackled behind his back and looked fairly miserable. There was no struggle. People surrounding identified him quickly, but let the police get on with their task. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer announced today, Hadush Kabatu has been arrested and will be deported. Officers have worked fast and diligently to bring him back into custody. We have ordered an investigation to establish what went wrong. We must make sure this doesn't happen again. His deputy, David Lammy, has demanded the urgent strengthening of release checks and a complete probe into what went wrong. Kabata was seen roaming around a library on Dalston on Friday evening and was later seen trying to secure a free night stay at the neighboring Premier Inn. Confirmation of the arrest came shortly after West Streeting had asked for the public's help in tracking the mistakenly freed sex attacker. Speaking on Sunday morning with Trevor Phillips, the health secretary said the government had been rolling over every stone to find Kabatu. Kabatu was last saw in East London, and so I would ask everybody watching to look at the photographs of this man to make sure that we're all vigilant, and if he cited to phone 999 immediately. We want him found, arrested, and deported. He added, this individual was behind jail due of heinous sex offenses. He is not supposed to be in this country. In actuality, what was supposed to be happening is he was meant to be transferred for deportation. So, the idea that he's roaming on our streets is really serious. It is a terrible failure. The cabinet minister admitted that the incorrect release demonstrates something has gone spectacularly wrong. He added, I feel as angry as everybody watching this morning. You cannot grasp how on earth this has happened. We don't want to prejudge the investigation. We will get to the bottom of exactly what's gone wrong. Every single day, there are millions of people working across the public sector doing a terrific job. And when something like this goes terribly wrong, we need to work out how. It comes after it emerged that jail staff told Kabatu he had to make it to the relocation center on his own steam. A delivery driver told Sky News, I heard one of the officers saying, this is how you get to the station. Just go down here. He directed him to the station and told He had to get on a train to travel to this destination. This conversation was at the front of the prison. In what sparked more amazement last night, Kabata spent more than 90 minutes loitering around outside the prison because he just did not know where to go or what to do. The driver, who was carrying supplies to the prison, said the officials were practically sending him away, saying, "Go. You've been released, you go." The disaster has left labor facing further questions about its handling of the migrant problem. It comes amid a reaction against measures to prevent illegal migration after a man who was deported under the one-in, one-out system with France returned on UK shores, having crossed the channel again in a tiny boat. Tory MP for Epping Forest, Neil Hudson, described Kabata's release a catastrophic blunder, which had seriously saddened, upset, and offended the whole community, adding that accountability must go straight to the top. Even after being allowed free, Kabata kept coming back and forth into the jail reception area requesting aid and giving workers a wad of documentation about his case. According to the driver, "I'm not sticking up for the person, but in my view, he wanted to do the right thing and go to the proper spot," he said. He knew he was getting deported, but he didn't know where to go or how he should get there. He kept scratching his head and saying, "Where do I go? Where do I go?" He said that the cops had no interest in aiding him, adding, "You're released, you're released." Kabata was sentenced for a year last month after abusing his 14-year-old victim. During his trial, Chelmsford Magistrates Court heard that he acted ignorantly and repulsively. The migrant grew aroused as he put his hand on the girl's thighs and brushed her hair, while knowing full well she was barely 14. He stated he wanted to have a baby with her and invited her back to the Bell Hotel, where he was living. Kabata then tried to kiss a woman who attempted to intercede, before putting his hand on her leg and telling her she was attractive. The asylum applicant declared his age as 38 during a court appearance, but a judge said he had seen material showing he was 41. Met Police Commander James Conway asked Kabata to turn himself up, saying, "We want to locate you in a safe and controlled way. You had already stated a wish to return to Ethiopia when chatting to immigration authorities. The ideal consequence for you is to make contact directly with us." He added the asylum seeker had taken a number of journeys across London since his release on Friday and had access to finances.